Hey everyone, and welcome. We're diving deep today into personal finance using this awesome crash course designed for beginners.
It's a great crash course.
Yeah, I think so too. I've been looking through it, and there's a lot of really good stuff here.
Absolutely, yeah.
So no matter where you are in your financial journey, whether you're just starting out or you've been at it for a while, hopefully we'll both learn a little something along with everyone listening. I kind of think of this as building your own financial GPS, like
Yeah.
guiding you towards feeling really good about your money.
I love that. A financial GPS. That's a great analogy. And just like a GPS helps you navigate those unfamiliar roads, this deep dive, I think, will equip you with the knowledge and the tools you need to navigate the sometimes complex world of personal finance.
Exactly. So let's start with, I think, the most basic question, but it's often overlooked. Why should you even care about personal finance?
Right?
I mean, isn't it just about like boring spreadsheets and penny pinching?
Well, not at all. Money touches practically every aspect of our lives,
Yeah.
whether we realize it or not. And it's about way more than just paying bills. It's about achieving your dreams. That dream vacation, owning a home, or even something as simple as just having the freedom to pursue a passion project without, constantly stressing about money.
Right. I'm starting to see the bigger picture here, but I have to admit, sometimes it feels like there's this huge gap between like where I am financially and where I dream of being.
Sure.
Does this crash course kind of address that feeling of overwhelm?
It absolutely does. One of the
Uh,
key concepts it highlights is the power of compound interest.
okay.
It's often called the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. It's the snowball effect of, earning interest on your interest, and it can make a huge difference over time.
Yeah, give me an example of that. Like, how powerful can compound interest really be?
Sure. So let's say you put aside just $20 a week, like skipping a couple of takeout coffees.
Yeah.
With simple interest, say at 5% annually, you'd earn about $520 in interest after a year.
God.
Not bad, right?
Not bad.
But with compound interest, that same $20 a week, over 30 years, could grow to over $60,000.
Wow.
That's the magic of letting your money work for you over time.
That's way more than I would expected. It makes you realize, like, even those small, consistent actions can make a huge difference.
Exactly. But to harness that power, you need a solid plan. And that brings us to the B word, budgeting.
Ugh, budgeting. Okay, I have to admit, that's not my favorite word. It just feels restrictive. Like, I'm putting myself on a financial diet?
Right. A lot of people, they feel that way. But the crash course actually, it frames budgeting in a really empowering way.
Okay.
It's not about depriving yourself. It's about making conscious choices so you can spend on the things that truly matter to you
Mm.
without, derailing your financial goals.
So it's more about saying yes to the things that align with my values, with my priorities, instead of feeling like I'm constantly saying no to myself.
Exactly. It's about taking control of your money instead of letting it control you.
I like this reframing of budgeting.
Yeah.
But how do you actually put a budget together? Like I've tried in the past and I always end up feeling lost and then I kind of give up. What are some of the biggest roadblocks you've seen people face?
One of the most common roadblocks is simply not having a clear picture of where their money is going.
Hmm.
We often have like a general sense of our income and our expenses, but until you actually track everything, it's so easy to overspend without even realizing it.
Yeah, it's like those little like expenses that just kind of sneak up on you, like the daily latte or like the
Yeah.
impulse online purchases.
Exactly. So the first step is to really get granular with your spending. Like
Yeah.
track every dollar for a month or two.
Okay.
You can use, a budgeting app, a spreadsheet, or even just like a simple notebook. The key is to find a method that works for you and
Yeah.
that you'll stick with.
Okay, so track everything, but then what? Like how do I turn that mountain of spending data into an actual budget?
So that's where the 50-30-20 rule can be really helpful. It's a simple framework for allocating your after-tax income.
Okay.
It suggests dedicating 50% to your needs, 30% to your wants, and then 20% to savings and debt repayment.
Okay, wait, hold on. 50% on needs. What exactly falls into that needs category?
Yeah. So think of it as the essentials. Things like your rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, transportation, and any essential healthcare costs.
Okay, so those are like the non-negotiables.
Exactly. What about wants?
So wants are the fun stuff, dining out, entertainment, travel, hobbies, things that make life enjoyable but aren't strictly necessary for survival.
Okay, so that 30% is for like guilt-free spending on the things you enjoy.
Exactly.
Okay. And then the final 20%, that's for savings and debt repayment. Exactly. This is where you prioritize your financial future. It could involve, building an emergency fund, paying down debt, or investing for long-term goals like retirement.
So it's not just about like scrimping and saving. It's about like finding that balance between enjoying the present and then also planning for the future.
Absolutely. And remember, the 50-30-20 rule, it's just a guideline. You can adjust those percentages based on your own circumstances and priorities.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you and your financial goals.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So you mentioned earlier, that feeling of overwhelm, that gap between where you are and where you want to be financially.
Right.
This is where I guess the pay yourself first principle comes in, right?
It does. It can be a real game changer.
I've heard that phrase before, but I've always been a little bit skeptical because, I mean, what if you have so many bills to pay that you don't even have anything left to pay yourself? How does that even work?
That's a great question. Again, the idea behind pay yourself first is to shift your mindset from saving what's left over at the end of the month to actually making saving a non-negotiable priority.
Right.
So instead of waiting to see what's left, you automatically set aside a portion of your income for savings as soon as you get paid.
So it's about like automating your savings, like setting up like automatic transfers to a separate savings account.
Exactly. This way you're less tempted to spend that money because it's already tucked away working towards your goals.
Yeah, I can see how that would make a big difference. Like it kind of takes the willpower out of the equation. It's like tricking yourself into saving.
You could say that. And the beauty is even small amounts consistently saved over time can add up to significant sums thanks to the power of, that compound interest we talked about.
Okay, I'm starting to get really excited about this. It's like I'm finally starting to understand how all these pieces fit together.
I think that's a great place to pause for now.
Yeah.
And let our listeners digest all this great information.
Agree. We've covered a lot of ground already. We've talked about why personal finance matters, the power of compound interest, budgeting strategies, that pay yourself first principle. It's a lot to process. So we'll pick up right where we left off in the next part of this deep dive. All right, welcome back. Hopefully everyone's had some time to kind of let all of that financial wisdom sink in a bit. What do you say? Ready to keep going with this deep dive?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something that might not be the most exciting topic, but it's a crucial part of, having a solid financial plan.
Okay.
Debt.
Okay, debt. Yeah, I have to admit that word makes me cringe a little bit. Is it even possible to have like a healthy relationship with debt?
Absolutely, it is. One of the key insights from the crash course is that not all debt is created equal.
Okay.
There's good debt, which can actually help you build wealth over time. And then there's bad debt, which can really hold you back.
Okay, break that down for me. What's the difference between good debt and bad debt?
Sure. So think of it this way. Good debt is an investment in your future.
Okay.
It's debt that has the potential to increase your earning power or your net worth over time. A great example is a student loan for a degree that's, going to lead to a higher paying job.
So it's like taking a calculated risk, knowing that the potential payoff outweighs the cost of borrowing.
Exactly. Another example of good debt is a mortgage on a home.
Yeah.
While it's a significant debt, obviously, it's also an investment in an asset that typically appreciates in value over time.
Yeah, so you're building equity while also having a place to live. That makes sense. What about bad debt? What makes debt fall into the bad category?
So bad debt is typically debt that doesn't offer a return on investment and often comes with those high interest rates. I think of credit card debt, payday loans, or even car loans for vehicles that depreciate quickly.
Right. So it's debt that can quickly spiral out of control if you're not careful.
Exactly. It's the kind of debt that can keep you trapped in a cycle of payments, making it that much harder to achieve your financial goals.
Okay, so I'm definitely seeing the distinction here. But what if you're, already kind of stuck in that bad debt cycle? What are some strategies for getting back on track?
Yeah, so the crash course outlines a couple of popular methods for debt repayment. The snowball and the avalanche methods.
Okay.
They both have their pros and cons, so
Yeah.
it really depends on, your personality and your financial situation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about those. What's the snowball method all about?
Yeah, so the snowball method is all about building momentum and motivation. You focus on paying off your smallest debts first, regardless of the interest rate.
Oh, interesting. So getting those quick wins early on to stay motivated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great strategy for, folks who are easily discouraged by that
Yeah.
long road ahead.
Yeah.
Once you pay off that first small debt, you roll that payment amount into the next smallest debt and so on, creating that snowball effect.
I can see how that would be psychologically very satisfying, seeing those debts disappear one by one. What about the avalanche method? How is that different?
Yeah, so the avalanche method is more strategic and mathematically focused. You prioritize paying down the debts with the highest interest rates first,
Okay.
which saves you money in the long run.
So it's about minimizing the total interest you pay over time, even if it takes a bit longer to see those debts actually disappear.
Exactly. Let's say, for example, you have a small credit card debt of $1,000 with a 15% interest rate. And then you also have a larger personal loan, let's say, of $5,000 with a 7% interest rate.
Okay.
With the snowball method, you'd tackle that $1,000 credit card debt first, even though that personal loan is costing you more in interest overall.
Right.
The avalanche method, however, would have you focusing on that larger loan first to minimize the total interest paid.
Oh, interesting. So it's like a trade-off between motivation and then minimizing the interest payments. It makes you realize there's no like one size fits all approach to debt repayment.
Exactly. The key is to choose a method that aligns with your personality and your financial goals.
Right.
But regardless of which method you choose, the most important thing is to be consistent with your payments and to avoid taking on new debt while you're trying to pay off the existing debt.
It's like trying to run a marathon while simultaneously signing up for more races. You're just making it harder for yourself.
Exactly. Now, speaking of debt and responsible financial behavior,
Yeah.
let's talk about something that's closely tied to both, your credit score.
Okay, credit scores. I know they're important, but I have to admit I don't fully understand like how they work. Like what exactly is a credit score?
Yeah, so think of your credit score as a numerical snapshot of your creditworthiness. It's
Yeah.
essentially a grade that lenders use to assess your risk as a borrower.
Hmm.
And it influences everything from getting approved for loans and credit cards to securing favorable interest rates and even renting an apartment.
Wow, it's amazing how much power like that one number holds. So how is this magical number calculated? Like what goes into determining my credit score?
Sure. So several factors contribute to your credit score, but the most important one is your payment history. Paying your bills on time every time, it demonstrates, responsibility and reliability to lenders.
Okay, so no late payments. What else matters?
Another key factor is your credit utilization ratio.
Okay.
This refers to the amount of credit you're using compared to your total available credit.
Okay. So if I have a credit card with a $10,000 limit and I'm currently carrying a balance of, let's say, $3,000, my credit utilization ratio would be 30%.
Exactly. And generally, you want to keep that credit utilization ratio below 30% to maintain a healthy credit score.
So it's not just about paying on time, it's also about like how much of your available credit you're actually using.
Precisely. Another factor that lenders consider is the length of your credit history. A longer credit history generally demonstrates, more experience and stability.
So closing old credit card accounts, even if I'm not, actively using them, could actually hurt my credit score?
It could because it shortens your credit history.
Oh, interesting.
It's generally better to keep those old accounts open even if you just use them occasionally for small purchases and pay them off immediately.
Interesting. So it seems like building good credit is all about like being responsible and consistent over time.
Exactly. It's about establishing a track record of responsible borrowing and repayment.
Yeah.
And a good credit score can literally save you thousands of dollars in interest over your lifetime.
Wow. Okay, I'm definitely motivated now to to keep my credit score in tip-top shape. Let's move on to something maybe a little less scary. Insurance. I know it's important, but honestly, all the different types of insurance out there, it can feel a little overwhelming. Where do you even start?
Yeah, you're not alone. Insurance can definitely feel like a confusing maze, but the crash course actually breaks it down into some manageable chunks. It starts by focusing on those essential types of insurance that most people need. So, health insurance, car insurance, and renters or homeowners insurance.
Let's dive into those a little bit. Starting with health insurance, why is it so crucial to have health insurance, even if you're, young and healthy?
It's like that old saying, you don't need insurance until you need it. And when it comes to health, the unexpected can happen at any time. Accidents, illnesses, they don't discriminate based on age or health status.
Yeah.
And medical bills can be incredibly expensive. They can easily wipe out savings and put you in debt.
Yeah, it's like having a financial safety net in case the unthinkable happens.
Exactly. Health insurance helps to cushion the blow of those unexpected medical expenses, protecting you from, potentially financial ruin. Plus, in many countries, having health insurance isn't just a good idea. It's actually a legal requirement.
Right. So health insurance, non-negotiable.
Yeah.
What about car insurance? I get that it's mandatory in most places, but what exactly what does it actually cover?
Yeah, so car insurance protects you financially if you're involved in an accident, regardless of who's at fault.
Okay.
It covers damage to your vehicle, damage to other vehicles or property, and medical expenses for anyone who is injured in the accident.
So it's not just about protecting your own car, it's also about protecting others on the road.
Exactly. It's about taking responsibility for your actions behind the wheel and ensuring that everyone involved is taken care of financially in the event of an accident.
Okay, that makes sense. What about renters or homeowners insurance? What does that cover?
So these types of insurance protect your belongings and provide liability coverage in case someone is injured on your property. If you're renting, renter's insurance covers your personal possessions in case of theft, fire, or other covered events.
So if my apartment floods or there's, a fire in the building, renter's insurance would help me like replace my damaged belongings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It provides peace of mind knowing that you're not starting from scratch if something unexpected happens.
Right.
And homeowners insurance is similar, but it also covers the structure of your home itself.
So if a tree falls on my house or there's like a hailstorm, homeowners insurance would help cover the cost of the repairs.
Exactly. It's about protecting your most valuable asset, your home, from the unexpected.
Right. Okay. I'm starting to see how important it is to have these insurance policies in place. It's about mitigating risk and protecting yourself financially from like the what ifs in life. Does the course talk about any other types of insurance?
It does. It briefly mentions life insurance and disability insurance, but it frames those as policies to consider as your financial situation and needs kind of evolve. They're not necessarily essential for everyone, but they can provide really valuable protection for specific circumstances.
But if you have a family who depends on your income, or if you're, self-employed and your income is directly tied to your ability to work.
Exactly. Life insurance provides a payout to your beneficiaries if you pass away, helping to cover expenses and replace lost income.
Yeah.
Disability insurance replaces a portion of your income if you become unable to work due to illness or injury.
Yeah, those are definitely things to think about as you move through different life stages and take on more, financial responsibilities.
Precisely. But for now, let's shift our focus to another crucial aspect of personal finance that this crash course covers: taxes.
Taxes. Not my favorite topic, but I know it's important to understand. Is there any way to make taxes feel less, I don't know, daunting?
Yeah, I hear you. Taxes can definitely seem intimidating, but the crash course does a great job of breaking them down into these, manageable concepts.
Yeah.
It starts by explaining the different types of taxes that we pay, federal income taxes, state income taxes, property taxes, sales taxes. It can feel like a lot.
Yeah, it does. And how much you pay in taxes depends on your income, where you live, all sorts of other factors. It can feel kind of overwhelming to try to keep track of everything.
It definitely can. But I think the key takeaway is understanding that taxes fund essential services, schools, roads, public safety, things that we all benefit from.
So it's about seeing taxes as a contribution to the greater good, even if it's not always pleasant to part with that portion of our income. What are some tips for making tax season a little less stressful?
Yeah, so the crash course emphasizes the importance of of staying organized throughout the year. Keep track of your income and your expenses, especially if you're self-employed or have a side hustle.
Right.
Good record keeping makes tax time so much smoother.
No more shoe boxes full of receipts at the last minute.
Exactly. And then when it comes time to actually file your taxes, you have options. You can file yourself using online software. You can hire a tax professional, or you can even use a combination of both.
Yeah, I guess choosing the right method depends on your comfort level and the complexity of your tax situation.
Precisely. And remember, there are often deductions and credits available that can reduce your tax liability. So it's definitely worth exploring those options as well.
It's like a treasure hunt, searching for those hidden tax breaks. Okay, we've covered insurance and taxes, two essential but often overlooked elements of a solid financial plan. What's next on our crash course journey?
Now that we have the foundational elements kind of in place, it's time to shift our focus to something a bit more exciting, setting financial goals.
Wait, hold on. Setting financial goals, isn't that kind of, I don't know, isn't that kind of obvious? I mean, I think most people have some idea of what they want, financially, right?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. A lot of people have like these vague desires, like I want to be rich or I
Yeah.
want to retire early, but they don't actually take the time to set clear, specific goals.
Right. So it's about moving beyond those like wishful aspirations and actually creating like a concrete roadmap for your financial future.
Exactly. And the crash course emphasizes the importance of setting what are called SMART goals. Have you heard of the SMART goals framework?
Vaguely. Remind me what SMART stands for.
Sure. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Okay. So instead of just saying I want to save more money, a SMART goal would be something like I want to save $5,000 for a down payment on a car within the next 2 years.
Exactly. That's a SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant to your life, and it has a clear deadline.
And having that clear goal, it makes it so much easier to create a plan, to track your progress, to stay motivated.
Absolutely. The crash course also encourages people to think about their goals across different time horizons. So, short term, medium term, and long term.
So short-term goals might be things like paying off a credit card or saving for a vacation, while long-term goals would be, buying a house or retiring comfortably.
Exactly. By setting goals across those different time frames, you create that holistic roadmap for your financial future.
I love that. A holistic roadmap. It's starting to feel less overwhelming and more like an exciting adventure.
That's the spirit.
Hmm.
But remember, like any good adventure, there will be twists and turns along the way. The key is to stay flexible, to adjust your plan as needed, and to celebrate your progress along the way.
And that is a wrap on part two of our deep dive into personal finance. We've covered a lot: debt management, credit scores, insurance, taxes, and the importance of setting those smart financial goals. Ready for the grand finale?
Absolutely. In the final part of our journey, we'll explore some advanced strategies that can really take your financial game to the next level.
Welcome back, everyone, for the grand finale of our personal finance deep dive. We've tackled budgeting, debt, insurance, even those dreaded taxes. Now it's time to, I guess, level up, right? Explore some of those advanced strategies that can help you not just manage your money, but really make it work for you.
I like that. Level up. It's like moving from, traveler to financial trailblazer,
Yeah,
forging those new paths.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to blaze some trails. Where does our crash course take us next?
So it starts by challenging this common misconception that investing is only for retirement.
Okay.
While retirement accounts, like your 401ks and IRAs are essential, exploring additional investment avenues can really accelerate your wealth building journey.
So we're talking about like going beyond the basics and really diversifying our investment portfolio.
Exactly. It's like having multiple streams flowing into your financial river instead of relying on just one.
I like that. Okay.
And speaking of streams, one avenue the crash course highlights is real estate.
Real estate. Okay, I have to admit that feels a little intimidating, especially for someone who's, not exactly a property tycoon.
I get it. It can seem a little overwhelming at first, but the crash course breaks down, different approaches to real estate investing, making it more accessible for beginners.
Okay, so give me some examples. What are some ways to like dip my toes into the real estate waters without, diving headfirst.
Sure. One approach is buying rental properties for passive income.
Okay.
So you become a landlord, collecting rent each month while you're building equity in the property.
So it's like having your money work for you, generating income even while you sleep. I like that. What are some other options?
Another popular strategy is flipping houses. You buy a property that needs some work, you renovate it, and then you sell it for a profit.
Yeah, I've seen those home renovation shows. They always make it look so easy. It seems like a lot of work, but also potentially very rewarding.
It can be both. It definitely requires, certain skill set and risk tolerance,
Mm.
but it can be a lucrative way to build wealth. And if you're, not quite ready to dive into direct property ownership, you can explore real estate investment trusts or REITs.
REITs. Okay, those sound familiar, but remind me what exactly are they?
Sure. So REITs are companies that own and operate income-producing real estate,
Okay.
like shopping malls, office buildings, or apartment complexes.
So by investing in a REIT, I'm essentially owning like a small piece of a large portfolio of real estate property.
Exactly. It's a way to gain exposure to the real estate market without, the hassles of direct property management.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got rental properties, flipping houses, REITs. Those are all great ways to kind of leverage real estate for wealth building. What other advanced strategies does the crash course recommend?
Another key concept is diversifying your income streams.
Oh,
Remember that multiple streams analogy we talked about?
right. Right.
It's about not putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
So not relying solely on your 9 to 5 job.
Exactly. Exploring, side hustles, freelance work, or even starting a small business. These things can create additional income streams, boosting your earning potential and also reducing your financial vulnerability.
Yeah, I mean that's especially relevant, I think, in today's economy where job security isn't always a given.
Right.
Having multiple income sources can really provide like a safety net and open up new opportunities.
Absolutely. And a great way to further diversify your income is through passive income opportunities.
Ah, yes. Passive income. Everyone's favorite phrase. What does that mean?
So passive income is money that you earn with minimal ongoing effort. It's like planting a seed that continues to grow and bear fruit without, constant tending.
That sounds amazing. But are there really ways to make money without, well, working?
There are definitely ways to generate passive income, but it often requires, some upfront effort or investment.
Okay.
Some examples include, dividend-paying stocks, rental income from properties,
Mm.
creating and selling online courses, or even writing and selling an ebook.
Those are some great ideas. It's inspiring to think about like ways to leverage your skills and knowledge to create those income streams that work for you even while you're, pursuing other things.
Exactly. And as your income and assets grow, it becomes increasingly important to think about protecting what you've built.
Okay.
And that brings us to the often overlooked topic of estate planning.
Estate planning. Okay. I have to admit that sounds a little bit morbid and also like something that's only for the super wealthy.
Yeah, that's a common misconception. Estate planning is essential for everyone, regardless of your age or your net worth. It's about ensuring that your assets are distributed according to your wishes and that your loved ones are taken care of if something were to happen to you.
So it's about having a plan in place, even if it's a simple one, to kind of protect your legacy and provide for your family.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be complicated. The crash course recommends starting with a will.
Okay, yeah. A will makes sense. What else should be part of like a basic estate plan?
It's also wise to establish a power of attorney, which designates someone to make financial and legal decisions on your behalf if you become incapacitated.
So if I'm ever in a situation where I can't manage my own affairs, I have someone I trust to kind of step in and make those decisions for me.
Exactly. And depending on your circumstances, you might also consider a living trust,
Yeah.
which can help to avoid probate and streamline the distribution of assets.
Yeah, those are definitely things to discuss with an estate planning attorney to determine what's best for your individual situation. It's about, having that peace of mind knowing that you've taken those steps to protect your loved ones.
Absolutely. Now, as we wrap up our crash course journey,
Mhm.
there's one final piece of advice that I think is crucial. Don't be afraid to seek professional guidance when needed.
You mean like admit that I don't have all the answers?
Exactly. Personal finance can get complex. And it's okay to acknowledge when you need expert help. Financial advisors, tax professionals, estate planning attorneys,
Yeah.
they can provide personalized guidance tailored to your unique circumstances.
It's like having like a financial coach in your corner,
Mhm.
helping you, navigate the complexities and make those informed decisions.
Precisely. And remember, personal finance it's a lifelong journey of learning and adapting and evolving. There's always something new to discover and new strategies to explore.
That's a great takeaway. Stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to adjust your financial plan as your life and your goals change.
You've summed it up perfectly. And I hope our listeners feel empowered to take control of their financial future and achieve their dreams, whatever those dreams may be.
Me too. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive, from budgeting basics to advanced investing and estate planning. It's been quite a journey, but remember, it's all about making those informed choices, taking those small steps, and staying committed to your goals over time.
And never underestimate the impact of those small, consistent actions.
That's right. Start where you are, celebrate your progress, and never stop learning. Thanks for joining us on this incredible adventure into the world of personal finance.
Until next time, happy saving, investing, and trailblazing.